Throw your hands up, throw your hands up. If you feel me what I'm saying, throw your hands up, throw your hands up, throw your hands up. If you feel me what I'm saying, throw your hands up, throw your hands up, throw your hands up. If you feel me what I'm saying.
What it is, babe, says it's your boy KidDubstep here to bring you another reaction video. Today I got for y'all a theory video. Mostly a game theory video. Super Mario Maker, bigger than the universe. This sounds interesting. I'm intrigued by this. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
So today we're talking Mario Maker, but instead of opening with a joke or cringy video of me pretending to be the Star Wars kid or whatever, I wanted to let you know about a fan-made game, Mega Maker. It's a project just like Mario Maker, but obviously for Mega Man levels. It was released a couple weeks ago, and as I write this, Capcom hasn't struck it down. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's not like Capcom's cared about Mega Man for years now. Anyway, long story short, if you're watching this video because you like Mario or retro platformers, then go out and support this awesome free project. And if you want to check out some of the best early levels created by theorists like yourself, check out our live stream of the game over on GT Live by clicking the eye icon right there. But hey, don't do it until you've watched the theory, then you can click the eye icon, go check out some levels, and then go create some levels for us to play. Alright? Cool! Roll intro.
These intros get weirder and weirder.
Internet, welcome to Game Theory, the show that's killed so many calculators that we've been charged with war crimes by Texas Instruments. Today we're answering a question that I had while in the shower. Obviously the place where all the best theory ideas come from. Why is Link going through the stages of grief? Would Minecraft's block world be flat, or would it be round? Does Bendy and the Ink Machine have any real-life parallels? How many possible levels can you actually make in Mario Maker? If only they made a water-resistant laptop I could use to write the whole episode in there, it'd be glorious! Just don't drop the soap. Anyway, I can hear you right now. Dude, MatPat, Mario Maker was like so last gen. We have a whole new console. Get with the times, bro. I know, I feel ya, bro, but as most of you already know, I love me a good math problem to solve. And what starts as just a simple premise, you'll soon see spirals out into the largest, hardest counting task Miss Allen, your math teacher, could ever devise. And without question, the largest numbers we have ever had to deal with here on Game Theory. I don't think even Nintendo has calculated this for their own game. So get ready, Miyamoto. When I tell you the final answer today, you're going to want to change that box art to brag about just how powerful the game you created actually is. Put on your hard hats, ladies and gentlemen, and let's go. Now, obviously, the only way to figure out how many possible levels can be built in Super Mario Maker is to count them. So that's what I did. Level 1, no blocks. Level 2, 1 block. Level 3, 3 blocks. Ah, damn it, I forgot the one with 2 blocks. I gotta go back and start again. And then, after the universe died, collapsed, big banged again, expanded, died again, and repeated the process billions of times, I finally invented the time machine, traveled back to 2017, wrote this script, and booyah shaka, here we are. Clearly, manual counting like this is not gonna be an efficient use of our time. But when you stop to think about it, most math is basically just glorified counting. I mean, counting is what started math to begin with. What was originally just a system to keep track of sheep, or days of the week, or how many oversized mammoth tusks you have to barter with, has evolved into a system intricate enough to predict the orbits of planets we can barely see, make computers house the entire history of human information, and calculate the most efficient path from my house to the nearest Wendy's in mere seconds. All of this is just counting done really, really quickly. And we're gonna need to count really, really quickly because there are a ton of different things to take into account when it comes to building Super Mario Maker levels. I mean, if you're like me, your level basically amounts to creating one giant flat plane filled with a bunch of Goombas in a line so I can murder death them all with just one shell kick. But for people who truly know what they're doing, who truly get this, there are literally 4,800 different options or different combinations to choose from before you even leave the first screen. Right off the bat, there's 50 different timer settings, and then there's scrolling. Do you want the level to auto-scroll? If so, do you want it to go fast, medium, or slow? So that's another 4 options, and boom, before you blink, we're already at 200 different level possibilities. Because when you're counting all things that are possible, these numbers multiply. Now, I gotta be honest, for as much as I loved math and science throughout school, I always hated permutations, combinations, and probability. Hated them! So let me quickly explain for everyone who ignored Miss Allen's cringy math jokes about how she'll do algebra and statistics, but graphing is where she draws the line. Miss Allen, I appreciate what you're trying to do. Really do. Doing great work up there, but please stop now. Anyway, here's an example. I want to make a level that's 50 seconds long. Okay, check. Now, for that 50-second level, there's 4 different options for scrolling speed: fast, medium, slow, or no scroll. Alright, so that's 1 level times 4 options, giving you 4. Got it? Good. The next timer is 60 seconds long, and then I have the same 4 options for scrolling on that one. Rinse and repeat the same process for all 50 timer settings. You could, if you wanted, count each individual one out, but it's faster just to multiply. 50 times 4, or 200 different combinations of level. Next up is level style. Do you want your level as classic Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World from the SNES, or the new Super Mario Bros. U? Which, let's be honest here, guys, that title is just way too frickin' long. What is this, a Kingdom Hearts title? Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue 358/2 Dream Drop Distance Recoded Chain of Memories. Seriously,
God,
Final
that's
Chapter
long-ass
Prologue? Final Chapter
title.
Prologue. That's like almost a logical paradox. Anyway, 4 different options for each of our 200 different levels. Y'all know what to do. Multiply. 200 times 4 equals 800. Then there's the song you want to play. Is it the underground theme, a normal grassy
How does
level,
the
blah
song
blah blah
factor
down the
into
line
this?
until you have 6 different course themes, which gets us to where we want it to be, 4,800 different possibilities. And we are still not ready to lay a single block or place a single enemy, since there's still the question of how big the level is gonna be. Super Mario Maker levels can be as short as 1 screen width of 24 blocks and as long as 10 screens of 240 blocks, with every width possibility in between. That's 240 minus 24, giving us 216 different length options. Multiplying our original 4,800 times 216 means that still, before you have placed a single Goomba, there are over 1 million different options. And while that's a horrifying figure to consider,
is he
it still
getting
has
these
atop the
numbers?
number of levels that have actually been built. In 2016, Nintendo counted how many levels had been made by players of the game, and the current publicly known total is over 7.2 million. 7.2
Jesus.
million levels in this one $60 Mario Maker game. Crazy. But hold on to your butts, because that 7.2 million is about to get left in the dust, because it is possible to create sub-areas in various levels. You know, those bonus areas with coins and different challenges and stuff. Well, those can also be 10 screens wide, or maybe they won't exist at all. That means that we have a whole nother 217 options available for our course, 216 length options, and the option of it not existing at all, bumping our previous 1,036,800 total to over 200 million. That means that if everyone who started out passionate about Super Mario Maker for that first year stayed passionate for the rest of their lives and devoted that time to making every single combination of level setup before even placing a single block on screen and managed to maintain the rate of 7.2 million levels per year, it would take over 30 years just to make every available option. And remember, we are still just talking about 200 million blank levels, different times, lengths, themes, and scrolls. For $60 or whatever Mario Maker costs these days, you are literally getting a game that has the possibility of over 224 million levels in it. That is 0.0000002 cents per level. Talk about a steal! I mean, granted, all those levels just involve pressing right to win, but still, quantity over quality. That said, we maybe want just a bit more quality. A level with a bit more substance to it, or at least a bit more something to it. And that means it is finally time to talk level decorations. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to place a block.
Oh
And
my God,
here's
this
where
is
the
gonna
numbers
factor
go
into
from
so
merely
much.
big to reality breaking. No exaggeration. Reality breaking numbers. A square on the grid of a Mario Maker level can have one of 96 different items on it. A block, a coin, a Bill Blaster, a Bowser, etc., etc., etc. That's already a lot. But there's actually more. There's half a dozen different modifiers out there. Let's take a simple note block, for example. This note block can be just that, a plain note block. It can also be pitched. It can also be winged. It can also be pitched and winged. That's 4 different combinations for one note block. It can also be filled with one of 120 125 different enemies between the different enemy varieties. Regular Koopas, flying Koopas, giant flying Koopas, on and on, you get the drill. That's 4 times 125, giving us 500 different possibilities. 500 different possibilities for just one block. Let me say that again. You can do 500 different things with just this one thing. There are way too many differences and options and qualities that I can list here, but I did go ahead and
about
count them all.
customization.
It was a very, very long night. So for any one grid in Super Mario Maker, when all is said and done, there are exactly 18,147 different things that you can do with it, including doing nothing at all. Now it's time to make that fateful decision of what to put into that first grid. And with that, I have made the first of over 4 trillion possible levels. 225 million times 18,000 and change. Think back to that army of folks making levels at a rate of 7.2 million per year. It would take them over 567,000 years to make every possibility of level where they fill in just one grid space. Time to move on to the next one.
MadPat must have a lot of spare time to do all these calculations for this one game and all the combinations. These numbers are making my head hurt. Ow.
With that choice of another 18,147 possibilities, we're starting to get close to numbers that have no name. My calculator returned 7.409 times 10 to the 16th power, which is 7 followed by 16 zeros, otherwise known as 70 quadrillion. So instead of doing this like a billion times, we're going to do a bunch of multiplying and exponentiating and going through all the different possible iterations of blocks for each grid on the square. We arrive at a nice and crisp 9.1 times 10 to the 6,217th power. For as huge as that is, and believe me, it is freaking ridiculous. That's not even the whole story. This is just how many different ways that things can be laid out. We still gotta multiply it by the various level iterations there are, and then multiply that number by 217, because again, there are the possibility of sub-areas, and all of those grid blocks can be filled with their own items, and then finally multiply that number yet again by our 9.1 times 10 to the 6,217th power, giving us the absolute ultimate grand total of 1.8 times 10 to the 12,444th power. That number is huge! Huge, I'm telling ya. That's a really bad Donald Trump impression if you were wondering what that was supposed to be. But MadPat, I hear you saying to me, this is all well and good, but that's just how many random levels can exist. That doesn't actually make them playable. And you're absolutely right. Among those 1.8 times 10 to the 12,444th levels, there's a bunch that are just Mario surrounded by bricks, unable to do anything as the timer runs out, or levels where he just gets crushed by the auto scroll. And Nintendo requires that all levels made in Mario Maker must be completable. That number, unfortunately, is impossible to know, but using another fun mathematical principle, we can get pretty close to estimating the number of levels that we have to eliminate because they're just invalid levels. I would say within a million. Saying that made me feel like one of those amusement park guessers. Hey kid, I can guess your birth month, age, weight, or the number of possible levels in Mario Maker. If I'm within a million, you don't get that cheaply made giant SpongeBob plushie. Now, missing by a million seems like it would be a huge number, but when you're considering how big of a number we're dealing with, a million is actually a drop in the bucket. Put it as a fraction in a calculator and it just rounds itself to 0. We're literally guessing a number which, when you put it in the calculator, says infinity to a range of about a million. So honestly, that's a pretty small margin for error. So how are we going to figure this out with little to no information to go off of? By using something called Fermi estimation. Enrico Fermi was an Italian physicist who's famous for a whole bunch of stuff, not the least of which being the creation of the very first nuclear reactor. That's a pretty impressive feather in your cap. Fermi was a really smart guy, and so get this. During the testing of the first atomic bomb, he dropped some sheets of paper in the blast zone. Sheets of paper, literal sheets of paper. He then measured how far those sheets traveled due to the blast, and estimated that the first bomb
Sorry, y'all.
were about 10 kilotons. They were, in fact, 20 kilotons. This is pretty darn close considering all he was using was dropped pieces of paper on the ground. Fermi estimation relies on getting rough estimates that are within an order of magnitude of the correct answer. It can be useful for guessing jelly beans in a jar, or how many piano tuners are in Chicago, or how many flights are in the air at any given point in time. Basically, it's a skill that you want to get good at if you're ever interviewing for a job at Google, because they love to ask questions like that at the end of their interviews. If you were to create a stack of quarters to the height of the Empire State Building, would you then be able to fit all of those quarters into a normal-sized room? No joke, that was a question that I was asked at the end of one of my Google interviews. The answer is yes, easily. Fermi estimation. It relies on the principle that the overestimates that you're going to make in the process balances out the underestimates, getting you pretty close to the right answer. So, using Fermi estimation, we can guess that out of randomly created levels, 0.00001% of them will be completable. And of those that are actually completable, let's say that only 0.000000001% will be any fun. That's basically us saying that 0.00000000001% of possible levels in Mario Maker are actually fun and completable. That is, in case you missed it, a really small percentage. That's like 1 grain of sand in a beach percent. Running all those numbers through our high precision calculator, we end up with a final number of 1.8 times 10 to the 12,431st power. Ha! It barely made a dent, and that is why Fermi estimation works. We are taking such small percentages to say, wow, what if there's this incredibly slim chance that all of these things work together, but you see that the number is still huge? The overestimates balance out against the underestimates. When you plug that number into a calculator, it basically gives you back infinity. I mean, I did it on Google's scientific calculator, and it literally spits back infinity. So think about it this way. This means that there are more possibly fun Mario levels that could be made in the universe than you will ever play. In Super Mario Maker, a $60 game with infinite levels of fun possibility. That's crazy! The only problem is we'd never A, have the time to create them all, or B, have enough space to store them in. And I mean that seriously. According to Universe Today, it's estimated that there are between 10 to the 78th and 10 to the 82nd atoms in the observable universe. There are more level possibilities in this one little $60 game for the crappy Wii U than particles in the entirety of the observable universe. Wrap your head around that one. And there you have it, loyal theorists, the answer to a question nobody asked or wanted to know the answer to. How many playable and fun Super Mario Maker levels can be made? It is actually a finite number, roughly 10 to the 12,431st power. A number so huge, it actually doesn't have a name. The only number bigger is a Googleplex, which is one with a Google of zeros behind it, and a Google is a one with 100 zeros behind it, so it's a really big number. Or at least it didn't have a name until today. This is our opportunity, right? Nobody else has claimed this number, so by the power vested in me by no one, the number 10 to the 12,431st power, a number unreachable in this universe and almost as many universes as can be imagined, I dub this huge and oddly specific number as a Marioplex. Thus, it shall be written in the annals of history for our children and our children's children to remember. Feel free to cite me in all future uses of this very specific number. And remember that it all started here with a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Wow. I actually have a headache after that. Anyway, I have some news for y'all. First, I'm gonna start with my new upload schedule. Starting next week, I'll be recording Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And possibly I'll upload off the schedule, depending on my mood. Second thing, me and 3 other YouTubers are starting a group channel, a podcast channel. I can't give out all the details because we don't have everything finished and complete. But I will get back to y'all once we have everything ready. So stay tuned. Comment, like, subscribe. And if you do subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of when I upload and when the trailer for the project comes out. And as always, drop the bass.
Niggas that I be with, they don't need know me. I kill niggas, bang bang, get away with murder.